Like that. Oh boy, I don't want to see myself on the screen. Thank you very much. I'm a little tired.
It's okay.
Should I go? Yeah. Hi, everyone. Hello. Thanks for coming today for our presentation that's being sponsored by the Women's Guild. We have a very special speaker here. She flew in from Kumeri just 2 days ago, and she's absolutely lovely. And you're going to get a chance to hear all of the wonderful things she does. I've been given something here to read about her, so if you give me a moment. We have with us today here Sarah Stites. She's a development officer for AYO, which is a crowdfunding platform for the Fund for Armenian Relief. Sarah also works closely with Caritas Aregat Foundation, an organization dedicated to the empowerment of children and youth with disabilities and their families in Gyumri, Armenia. Sarah is originally from Washington, D.C. area. She's a dual citizen of the United States and Armenia and has been living in Gyumri for nearly 4 years. Prior to her move, she worked in marketing for a DC-based international education startup. In her spare time, she enjoys exploring Armenia's mountains and lakes, reading, running, and freelance writing for Armenian news outlets. Before I introduce Sarah, I'd like to also remind all of you, if you could kindly sign in at the back table today so we know that you were here. And I would like to introduce to you Sarah. She's going to tell us about the wonderful things she does. Thank you.
You guys are so far away. If you want, you can, but don't worry. It's fine either way. Okay, let's see if I can. Good, I think so. Yeah?
That's it.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. Are they moving up or no?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
A lot of percent.
Okay.
I think you can just go here and here.
Okay, perfect. Good. Thanks, guys, for coming to my little presentation. It's an honor to be here. I just got in from Yerevan a couple days ago, so I'm still jet lagged. Please pardon me for that. But yeah, it's honestly very thrilling to be here. As was stated, I'm sorry, what's your name again? Laura? As Laura said, I'm originally from the Washington, D.C. area, but I've lived in Armenia for the past 4 years. And it's always a bit strange to come back now to the States because I feel a bit more Armenian already than I do American. And it's a very jarring experience to come back. But I'm really, really happy to be here. So yes, I am here today with AYO. How many of you know about Fund for Armenian Relief? Okay, most of you do. And how many of you know about AYO? Okay. Fund for Armenian Relief is an amazing charitable organization based in Yerevan in New York. And they do a lot of amazing humanitarian projects throughout Armenia. And AYO is their crowdfunding platform. So I work closely with AYO. And what we do, our main mission is to empower Armenians both in Armenia and in the diaspora to make an impact through small-scale, big impact projects. I'll get more into that later, but just wanted to say that's why I'm here. I'm here on behalf of AYO. But I also want to share a little bit about my own story because it's a very interesting story. I'm only 25% Armenian, and I was never actually at all connected to my Armenian roots. So I like to joke I'm more Hayastanzi than Spirka Hai because I speak Eastern Armenian, not Western. I was never, again, connected at all to my Armenian roots while I was in the States. So I really explored all of that in Armenia itself through Birthright Armenia. So I'm gonna get into that story now, but I want to start by talking a little bit more broadly about meaning in life. What would you guys say are some of the most important components of meaning in life?
Most meaningful. Religion.
Faith. Mm-hmm.
Family.
Family. Mm-hmm.
Great minds think alike.
Shelter. Yeah. Children. Those are all good. Nourishment. Mm-hmm. Spending time with special people. Yeah. Those are all good ones. There's an amazing TED Talk, which I would encourage you to listen to later. It's called There's More to Life Than Being Happy. And I was really inspired by this TED Talk as I was thinking about my life in Armenia and why I enjoy living there. And the woman, Emily Esfahani Smith, who gives this TED Talk, she says that there are 4 components: meaning in life: belonging, transcendence, purpose, and storytelling. So I want to tell a little bit about my personal story by looking at these 4 components. So belonging is the first one. And I like to think of belonging as connections that root us. And so I'm going to step back a little bit. When I first came to Armenia, I came through Birthright Armenia. I was working at the time in DC as a journalist, and I made it rather randomly to an Armenian event. I'd never been to an Armenian event in my life before. Someone invited me. I was the only person in the room who didn't look phenotypically Armenian. I couldn't understand the language they were speaking. I felt very out of my comfort zone. And a very nice man approached me and said, "You're new here, let me introduce you to people." And I immediately felt that Armenian warmth. And I felt like everyone was bringing me into the fold. And at that event, I heard about Birthright Armenia. Do you guys know about Birthright Armenia? Mm-hmm. I'm ever grateful to Birthright Armenia. You don't know? Okay. Birthright Armenia is a program for Armenians from the diaspora, young Armenians up to the age of 32, to go and spend up to a year doing volunteer work in Armenia, living with a host family, learning the language. It's specifically designed for people like myself who had no connection at all. And the goal is to get those young Armenians to repatriate. That is the ultimate goal. If not repatriate, at least reconnect, right? Find that connection, that sense of belonging. And so when I found out about that, I said, okay, I can't go now, but I'm going to go at some point in my life. And so in May 2018, I made it to Armenia and started volunteering in Kumeri. And Kumeri is Armenia's second biggest city, and it's much less well known, of course, than Yerevan. Everyone knows about Yerevan. Kumeri somehow flies under the radar, and Kumeri has a very sad history. In 1988, there was a massive earthquake that literally decimated the population. When I say literally, I mean in that region there were about 250,000 people living, and 25,000 people died. There was massive, massive loss of life. Kumeri had a lot of factories at the time. I think about 27. All of them had massive damage, so the economy took a hard hit. And now, 33 years later, it's still struggling because of the impact of that earthquake. But I wanted to be there because someone gave me really good advice. Someone said, if you want to understand Armenia truly, you need to spend significant time outside of Yerevan. And so I started volunteering in Kumeri for a wonderful organization called Caritas Arigak Foundation. And they have a therapy center for kids with disabilities. And as many of you may know, being a person with a disability in general is very difficult. Being a person with a disability in Armenia is hugely difficult. Being one in Kumeri is even more difficult. You would think for a city that experienced an earthquake, after which many people develop disabilities, it would be more conducive to, to help people. But no, it's a very difficult place. And so I started working there and really fell in love with Kumeri and thought maybe I would leave to Yerevan after that. After a few months there, kept on pushing it back, stayed a year in Kumeri. And then when I got a job offer, I said, okay, I'm going to live in Kumeri. And that was a huge decision for me, of course. But the reason I bring that up here is because I felt that sense of belonging. This photo here on the, let's see, it's my left, so you're right, I guess, the dancing, you see? Caritas Arigak Foundation, shortly after I arrived, opened Armenia's first inclusive bakery, the first bakery to intentionally employ people with disabilities and also moms of special needs kids. And I get tingles when I say it because, I mean, that is such a progressive thing for Armenia, for Kumeri. There's not one in Yerevan. You know, the first one opened in Kumeri. And it has been such a joy and an honor to be part of that from the beginning, you know? I mean, it was already in the works when I came, but it opened when I was there. And this was the kind of the first circle dance we did on the day that it opened. And I'm a part of that family. And so that sense of belonging for me, the small town vibe in Kumeri, the closeness of the relationships there is one of the things that made me decide to stay. The picture to my right, I guess your left, with me wearing a mask, is the day that I got my citizenship in the middle of the COVID pandemic. Another story I'd like to share is the photo under that, which again describes this sense of belonging I feel there, is this woman, Raya. She's like my second mom in Armenia. She randomly met me on a bus. She heard me speaking English. Long story short, turned out I looked like her daughter who died in the earthquake. And we're very, very close now. And she's kind of adopted me as her third daughter. And I've had the privilege to help her family, who has experienced many, many difficulties, help her granddaughter attend college by helping, coordinate through some donors the tuition fees. So again, I just say these stories because there's such a richness to my life there, and I'm really grateful for that. I'm really grateful for that. I have that sense of belonging. Transcendence, I feel deeply in Armenia. The accessibility of nature, the sheer number of churches, the closeness to God. Yeah, every weekend I'm doing Bible study and hikes, and I feel so close to the Lord that way. This photo on the right is at Lake Van. Have any of you been to Lake Van in Western Armenia? Yeah. Even though I'm only 25% Armenian, I felt so much emotion there, knowing that land is no longer ours. But in any case, something I feel living in Eastern Armenia is an even greater urge than to ensure that we keep our lands that we still have intact, and we invest in the people. Purpose. So this is the third component of meaning. I feel a very deep sense of purpose in Armenia. And I am not at all arguing that you can't have purpose in other countries or that you can't have purpose in your work in America. But the work I was doing before I left for Armenia didn't give me much purpose. And once I started working with Caritas Aragak Foundation and helping to promote the employability and trainability of people with disabilities and the dignity of people with disabilities, that gave me, in turn, so much dignity. And I wake up excited to go to work. That's hugely important. The young man in the photo that I'm hugging, his name is Johannes, and he is one of the first waiters who started working at our Aragak bakery, the first inclusive bakery I was talking about. And Hovo never thought he would be able to hold a job because of his Down syndrome, especially in Armenia. Again, you just don't see people with Down syndrome holding jobs. And he's been an employee already for almost 4 years. And he supports his mother through his work. And for the first 6 months, again, I'm getting goosebumps. For the first 6 months that he held his job, he would cry every time he received his paycheck and say, I just never expected ever, first of all, to hold a job. Second of all, to have a team that loves me, and everyone loves him. He's famous already in Kumeri and outside of Kumeri. And he's so good at what he does. I think for me, that is the most thrilling piece of it, is that he not only, of course, he's a person and he has skills, but he has unique skills. He's a better waiter than I, as a classically abled person, could be, because he's so joyful and so attentive to people's needs. And so people like him give me that sense of purpose. And actually, I found out about Fund for Armenian Relief and AYO because AYO did a crowdfunding campaign for us at Aragak Bakery. During the thick of COVID, we had to close for a while. And of course, our whole mission is to provide work, And so we thought, how are we going to be able to continue providing paychecks to our staff? And we ran a campaign called Our Daily Bread, where we were collecting donations from people in the West who were basically buying bread from us so we could keep our staff at least baking in the kitchen. And we then delivered that bread free of charge to people in need in the community. And so AYO helped fund one of the months of that campaign. That's how I got to know about AYO. And so AYO has also now become a huge part of my life. And I love, they also have a huge focus on people with disabilities, but on all vulnerable groups. And they really work to promote sustainable development in a number of different fields. And I'll again get into that later. But the photo at the top here of the young man with a cane and then with the camera, that was the first project I got to be a part of through AYO. And this was a project we called From Frontlines to Storefronts. And basically, we were providing small grants for wounded veterans who had been wounded in the 2020 war to start their own small businesses. Because many people, like Mesrop in this photo, he was working in construction, and then he became disabled, so he could no longer continue in that line of work, and he became a photographer through a grant. So again, things like that just give me enormous purpose. The photo underneath with the car and me dressed very in an amusing way there. That was at Christmas, and one of the projects we did was we raised money to fund an accessible car so that kids could access therapy in a different region of Armenia, Martuni, near Lake Sema. And I got to drive the car as a surprise to them, dressed as an elf, I guess. I think that was probably the highlight of my year, 2021. And then this last component of meaning for me is very special because it ties into my grandfather who I never met. If you can read Armenian, you'll see that says "Chakata krits ches pachchi," which means you can't escape your destiny. And this fourth component of storytelling, it means you feel meaning in life when you're connected to a greater narrative. And again, getting goosebumps. I had been living in Armenia already 1 year when I found out rather randomly from my mother, who's the Armenian one, that my Armenian grandfather, who was actually born in the States, he worked in the Eisenhower administration to promote the employability of people with disabilities through a campaign called Hire the Handicapped, which I had no clue about. Yeah. And of course, I never met him. He died many, many years before I was born. But for me, that is so reassuring. Sometimes when I question, am I where I'm supposed to be? And then I think about that. And I think that is God orchestrated and just such a beautiful narrative, right? And I feel like I'm able then to carry on his legacy. And this component of storytelling is very large in my work because, I'm a freelance journalist as well. I write stories. That's the main component of my job, to communicate in a compelling way about needs through stories. And I'll tell one more piece to this component of storytelling. That photo there is of Hovo, the young waiter I was telling you guys about with Down syndrome, and a young woman named Gane who visited our bakery. And she read an article that I wrote about Johannes' life. And at the time she was a student, she was studying literature. And she had an assignment to write a children's book. And she read my article about Johannes and was really inspired by his story. And then she wrote this children's book, which then became a published book. And we sell it at our bakery, but also it's available in all bookstores in Armenia. And it's really the first of its kind to promote, again, the dignity of people with disabilities. And it's a tool for parents to use with their children to show that people with disabilities are just different, but completely equal and worthy of love. Yeah. The book is called Arevot Choharash, which in English is The Sunny Cook. And it is available online. If anyone's interested, I can send the link. I should have brought some with me. I had limited luggage. So that's a little bit about my story, and I hope that's inspiring to you, and I hope you can analyze your own life in that way through those 4 components. But now I want to share a little bit more specifically about AYO. So as I said, it is the fundraising platform of Fund for Armenian Relief. And as I was saying earlier, our goal is to engage young people specifically, but people of any age, to take part in Armenia's development through sustainable projects. So we also fund projects in Artsakh, both Armenia and Artsakh, and while they are small scale in nature, meaning usually up to about 20,000 USD, they have a huge impact. So for example, that car that I showed you that we purchased for a therapy center, so many young people were not able to access therapy because transportation in that region is so difficult. And there are a lot of single moms who can't drive, who can't afford paying a taxi. And so that has a huge impact, but only cost about 15,000 USD. So those are the types of projects that we like to fund. And then also projects like that small grant program I told you about, which invest in people so that they can start being, in a sustainable manner, care for themselves and their families. So we've been active for about 9 years. This next year, we're going to have our 10th anniversary, which is exciting. And we've completed about 57 projects and raised over 650,000 USD through our online platform, which I'll open in a bit. This is the first project. This was long before my time, the first project that AYO completed. Yerevan, well, Armenia in general, had back then special schools for people with disabilities. Now there's been a drive toward more inclusive education, including children with and without disabilities together in the classroom. But at this time, there was a special school, and we purchased Braille printers so that the school could print educational materials in Braille for its blind children so that they could also learn, because in many cases they're just completely excluded from education because of lack of accessible materials. This is the one I told you about, from frontlines to storefronts. This man, Gevorg, he was actually wounded in the 90s. And he's a veteran. And we helped him purchase solar panels and special light bulbs for his greenhouse so that he could have lower costs and thus make more profit. Something he would never have been able to purchase on his own. And he's an amazing guy. He's also started Kumeri's first wheelchair basketball team, and he's trying to get young veterans who were wounded in the more recent war to get involved. Yeah. This is the one I told you about as well, the car. And I do also just want to say that something that's very important to us at AYO is transparency, because I am the first to admit that especially after this more recent war, there's a lot of concern and lack of trust when it comes to donating. You don't know where your money's going. And so something that's really important to us at AYO is reports. So we do photo and video reports so you can actually see the impact you made. And then we have financial reports too, showing how every dollar was spent. So that's extremely important to us. And the great piece too about our being connected to Fund for Armenian Relief is that FAR handles all of that reporting and follow-up. Another amazing piece too is that we have some donors who've covered all of our administrative costs. So 100% of every donation goes exactly toward the project. That's another thing we're really passionate about. I'm going to show you our website really quickly, see if we can. Yeah, so this is our platform. And at any given time, we have a project running. Right now, we're doing an amazing project, which I'm really passionate about. This is, if you can even believe this, this is a medical center, this building, in this unique region of Armenia, which is in the south of the country, very close to the border with Azerbaijan. And it serves 6 villages, so there are a lot of people coming here. And it has no heating system. Oh, it's not showing?
It's not showing.
Okay. Thank you for telling me that. Have to describe it to you. Let's see. Okay, well, we can figure that out later. but I will describe it to you. It is a rather dilapidated building in a very snowy region, and they don't have heating system. And so, again, this is something that for people like us, in the West, it would be very easy to purchase because it's not that expensive. But for them, they have to scrimp and save for every little improvement in this medical clinic. So that's the current project we're doing. I guess I actually have a slide about it. Okay.
On that website, you'll see it, like the VR.
Oh yeah, you can visit our website.
That will show.
Yeah, that will show. That's the current project. Oh, this is it. This is the building. You can see it. Yeah. So at any given time, if you go to our website, we have the current project there. It shows you how much has been raised, how much is remaining, and you can open a PDF that gives you a background. And we also have a project bank where you can look through all of our past completed projects, read about them, what their goal was, and updates about them.
Where is that?
This is in the village of Darpas, which is outside of the city of Sisyan in the Syunik region in southern Armenia. So it's in if you're familiar with the Armenian map, you know that Armenia kind of looks like a woman's head, and there's the neck at the bottom is the Syunik region, which is between Nakhichevan and Azerbaijan, so two sections of Azerbaijan. So it's volatile region, exactly, quite volatile region. And I am of the opinion that it is extremely important that we ensure that there are strong institutions in that region, because otherwise people are going to leave, and the more people that leave, the more open it is to invasion. I have to say, one of our past projects that we did was in Bayazor region, which is right above Syunik, and now it has a large exposed border region after the war, because that piece of Artsakh was taken by Azerbaijan. We were doing a partnership with village schools in a lot of different villages in Bayazor region, and I was talking with the principals, asking them about how many students they have. And in a couple cities, in the city of Jermuk, which is one of the bigger cities in Bayazor region, the principal told me it was built for about 1,500 students. And at this time, there are 250. And in the village of Artavan, I was walking through this large school and it seemed completely empty, echoing. And I asked him, the principal, he said for 400 students it was built, 21 students now. Yeah, and that one's not far from the border with Azerbaijan. So for me, a lot of times my friends ask me, why do you live in Kumeri? It's kind of boring. You could live in Yerevan. Why? I don't think Kumeri is boring. But they have a point. Yerevan has a lot more to do. But I always tell them, for me, it is hugely important to invest in the regions, because Yerevan has half of the population. Everything is centralized in Yerevan, but it is so important that we have strong borders, really. And Armenia is not going to advance at all if we only invest in Yerevan. So for me, it's one of my biggest missions to help promote regional development. And I think also I try and convince as many people who are diasporan Armenians, who move to Armenia, to consider not living in Yerevan, to live out of it. I think that's really important. We have just about $1,800 left to raise for our current campaign, the one I was telling you about, the medical centers that need heating systems. And you guys are the first to know because we haven't launched this one yet, but this is our next project called Countdown to Camp. And there's an amazing camp experience that Fund for Armenian Relief sends children from vulnerable backgrounds. And this year, we through AYO want to ensure that 75 more children can go to this camp who have lost their fathers in the 2020 war. And we think it'll be a really rewarding, almost therapeutic experience for them. So we will be launching that probably next week. If you're interested, you can visit our website and look at that next week. Our website is pretty easy to remember, weareio.org. So if you're interested in supporting our work, you can always visit the website and
Very young.
I am very young, this is true.
When our church was unbelievably helping Armenia, and we had all the orphans coming here
Wow.
and going to private homes
Mm-hmm.
and doing everything. And I have a daughter. I call her
Yeah.
And it was wonderful.
Wow.
You missed it all. You missed it. It was a wonderful place to go, but it was
Wow.
a tough thing to live.
Yeah.
They lost parents, they lost their brothers, they lost their sisters.
Yeah.
And it was so sad. And we had them come here and stay with families. And they-
Wow. In the 90s, you mean?
This year,
Oh, in the earth. Ah. Oh, wow. Okay.
And to this day, I'm so glad.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for investing in that way. Yeah.
And it was our church who did it.
Wow.
They were all unbelievably
Mm-hmm.
super.
That's amazing.
I'm not the only one.
No, I don't doubt it.
They were involved, so,
Yeah.
and it was great.
Thank you for investing in that way. Yeah.
You weren't even born then.
No, I wasn't. 94. 94 is my birthday. It was Leninakan, and they still call it Leninakan. They call me a Leninakansi. Yeah, yeah. Old habits die hard. They can't stop calling it that. Even people my age, or just a little bit older than I am, still call it Leninakan. And they call Vanadzor Kirovakan. What? Oh yeah, I'm about to buy an apartment in Kumeri. I live in Armenia. Yeah, that's where I see my life. I love America deeply, passionately, and I'm so grateful, especially to all the support that comes from America and the strong American Armenian community. Yeah. Honestly, it's such an honor to be here because, like I told you, I was not connected at all to the Armenian American community before. I'm Hayastansi. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. So it's an honor then to meet you guys. Really, it's a great honor, and yeah.
honors all
Thank you. I will explain that. I would love to show you the page, but I don't think it'll come up. Well, in any case, I was going to say, yeah, if you want to donate at any time, you can visit our website, and there's a clear donate button, and it's a clear process there. You can also donate monthly if you want to, for example, small amount a month, $10 a month. It'll just be processed monthly. Donating your birthday is, I think, for me, one of the most fun ways to get involved. What you do is, about a month before your birthday, you visit our website. There's I'm so sorry I can't show you, but
Do you see it up there when you go to where you want to show?
yeah,
Or you do?
yeah. Does
You see
it?
There you go.
Oh, perfect. Look at that. Okay, so you can see this now, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, so this is what I was saying, that this is our current project. So this is the home page on the website. And at any point, you can see how much has been raised, how much is remaining, the region, the days remaining of the campaign, and you can read some background. Yeah. And then it's just very easy to donate through this form. And like I was saying, it can be one time, it can be ongoing. You can set up a monthly, annually, I think is also an option, yeah. But donate your birthday is really fun because what you're doing is you're asking your friends and family, your network, to donate instead of giving you a gift. That's great, right? Because, I mean, it feels so wonderful I did it for my past birthday, and I think raised something like $2,500, and I was like, that means so much more to me than gifts. And you know that you, in honor of you, your friends are also becoming involved in the Armenian cause. And how do you do it?
Yeah.
Okay, good question. So you click here to create your account, and it's straightforward from there. You just have to input some information. This is already pre-selected. You're participating as a fundraiser. So what that means is you're basically partnering with us to fundraise. So I'm not going to do it here, but I guess I could do it to show you. You have to share it. So the onus is on you to share it. You're creating a page here, basically. let's see if I can just do it to show you. Okay, we'll say 2,500. You can change it at any time. So if you start with 25, you can up it to 100. Okay, let's see if I can. Do I want to do this? Should I do this? No. Okay. You'll figure it out. But you can always email me if you have questions. Email, address, and then there's a page that is then created, your personal page, and you email that to your friends, post it on your Facebook. What?
You send the link,
You send the link. Mm-hmm.
so you would just grab the link, embed it in your email.
Yeah, and just say, like, hey, I'm doing this for my birthday, please donate my. Yeah. I wonder if I can find the actual example of the leaderboard. Oh yeah, I'll show you the leaderboard here. We only have the most recent ones. Do you guys know Deryeprem?
Yeah.
Who doesn't know Deryeprem? Deryeprem did it in honor of his father's birthday. His father has already passed away, but that's another thing you can do for your anniversary, for whatever big thing in your life, any occasion. Yeah, just asking people to donate in your honor. You won't. So yeah, so it shows, see, on your personal page, it shows the cause. So he wrote a little bit about why he cares. This was for our project where we bought the car to help kids access rehab. And so then, like, it shows his goal was 250, he raised 1,550. And then you can just donate to his page. Yeah, and it shows supporters and their nice little messages to honor your father. I'm donating in honor of my mother, also a genocide survivor who chose June 12th for her birthday. So.
And it goes directly, there's no middleman.
No middleman. It's processed just through the exact same donation platform that's on our page. It's just more appealingly presented, but it goes through the same QGIve, which is a secure donation processing platform. So yeah, so that's something I love. I want to do that annually for my own birthday. I'm going to do it this year on May 31st for my 4-year anniversary in Armenia. Yeah, and then becoming an ambassador, that's something we usually, like we work with ACYOA with on that front. We have a couple people who just are advocates for AYO and share about us, give similar sorts of presentations like what I'm giving, and just tell the Armenian community that AYO is there and we do great work and this is how you can get involved. So this is our info. We're active on Facebook and Vimeo and Instagram. This is also my contact info. You can take it down and contact me anytime. I love hearing from people. I also did want to say I have a sign-up sheet in the back. You can sign up if you want to receive more information about our projects. When we launch new projects, updates about our old projects. And if you sign up, we have a cute little gift for you. They're socks made in Armenia that have famous Armenian painters' designs on them. So they're in the back there. You can grab one.
And where else in the East Coast, West Coast, Midwest have you spoken
Like this is my first time here. I've never done it before. Aw, thanks. Yeah, you guys are my first stop. I'm here for a wedding. My best friend, she lives in New York City, and I came for the wedding and just thought, well, hey, I should visit some of the parishes while I'm here because it's so important for me. I feel, of course, on the ground there, it's wonderful because I get to meet the people we help, but I also love meeting the people who support us. And you guys are standing strong behind us. And I'm really, really grateful for that.
Well, you're very articulate, and I hope that you get more callings. We don't want to pull you away from your work, but actually seeing somebody represent is different than what it's like.
Yeah,
with?
my pleasure.
You have to go to California.
Oh.
To all the
The churches there are grand, so
Yeah.
you make a great representation.
Thank you. I'm going to Texas. Where? Where in Texas were you? I'm not going to Dallas.
Houston?
Houston, I'm going to. San Antonio and Houston.
Then you gotta go out.
Okay, next time.
No, my son is.
Oh,
You're gonna go to Dallas.
oh, great. Okay.
Trust me.
I'm
There's money there.
Any recommendations you have, let me know. I'd like to come back in December or January, I think, when Kumeri's freezing. I figured I could come back. Amazing.
And I should probably let everybody know that the Women's Guild has asked me to present you with a check for $250.
Oh, thank you. Guys, thank you so much. That means a lot to us. I have a feeling we're going to close this project today, our current project, because this is wonderful.
How much is it?
It's so we just processed our monthly donation. So right now it shows 1,883 is remaining, but we have about 1,000 in monthly donations that comes in. So yeah, we have 850 to close. So yeah, like 600 after that. So great. Wonderful, guys. It's been a pleasure. Yeah.
I just want to say something. I just came back from Texas last week. They built a.
Oh, yeah, take them out.
Hi, I'm Betty Ajamian.
Sarah.
You guys all know, nobody can see me. My son is the pastor of St. Sarkis in Dallas, and I just came back. Last weekend, they built their brand new church. And I was in some consecration. It was awesome. And I brought a book to show if anybody wants to look at it, but I'd like you to have this book.
Oh.
It's the Kumeri book. It just was amazing, and then it was on All Saints Day, not All Saints Day, Armenian, the Holy Martyrs. That was so memorable and so like we were saying, it was postponed so many times, and the fact that it was on Holy Martyrs Day was amazing. And there were 4 bishops there. Serpazan Hagazun was there from Australia. And Kajak Rasamian, Serpazan, he was there from Rome. And I don't know the other bishop. And then, of course, Serpazan Fendiki. What's it?
And of course, Father Dan.
And Serpazan Father Daniel. So it was really momentous. There was a beautiful dance. If you go on Facebook, St. Sarkis for Dallas, there are a lot of pictures that are taken, and you know, what?
It's in the Ilura.
Yeah, but there were like there's like
It's in,
over
it's
100.
in the Ilura.
Oh,
Click
okay.
on a link, it'll take you.
Okay, and a lot of
Yeah.
so it was just beautiful, and I just am very proud. I am not Armenian, so that's the joke.
Really?
Thank you, and you did a great job.
Oh, thank you. My
Phenomenal.
pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks, guys, for
Everybody
everything.
wants to look at it, and then I have to hand it.
You don't, Sarah, this is.
What an honor. I'm well. Very well.
So thank you so much for coming. I
You're
know
welcome.
Donna's not here. I know Donna's not. Yes, she's not here. So on behalf of the Women's Guild, the AYO, St. Leon Parish, thank you so much. We've been in contact, and I know Sarah and I, we've been Zooming to get information. And I'm sorry I missed most of your talk. I had a few cemetery blessings right at the church, but I'm sure the information you shared was fruitful and God-pleasing, and we pray for you.
Thank you. That means the most.
God will watch over you as you do this very sacred work. The work that you're doing is sacred work, that you're doing in Armenia, that you sacrifice your home here to go to Armenia and serve those in need. That's a very big thing. We serve here and we do, but then there are those who they upgrade, they leave their homes here in the States and they go to Armenia, where many of you know more better than I, the challenges there are many. And you have taken that sacrifice, and we pray that God be with you. God shower his blessings upon you with good health and happiness as you continue your ministry in Armenia for the glory of God, for our people during these challenging times. So again, thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure, really.
So, I believe there's refreshments there, maybe they did have some, I guess they did, okay, so, oh yeah, please.
Sarah didn't.
Don't worry.
No, we'll go and have some refreshments, again, thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get folks to come up? Let's take a picture with Sarah. I think people would like to see that in our Iluradu, yeah.
You're amazing.
Oh,
Yeah, she is. What an
And I want to
inspiration.
say my daughter's in the audience, but I get very, very inspired. So, yeah, she's coming right now. Who are you guys kind of look alike? This is my daughter, Mara.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Thank you. If anybody wants to see it.
Okay. Let me see this. Oh, great. Let's see. Folks, if we can all gather around Sarah.
Yeah,
Oh,
please,
okay.
yeah, so we
Grace, you
can,
can come right through there.
is it better, we can,
Huh?
is it better?
Yeah, should I move this?
Or like, maybe it's
Lower.
better to move it. You might-
Yeah, let me
but I
move it.
think the wire, again,
Oh, the wire to move it back? Yeah, we can move it.
just so that
Why don't we
it's not
move
in
it
the
back?
way.
Yeah, push it back. Yeah, Jack helped me with that. Oh, there's wires. No, che signera the canera, yeah. Well, I'm just saying.
Who told you that? So how'd you pick up this Easter Armenian thing? How'd you pick up this Easter Armenian?
I think we need you, yeah. Well,
Just
maybe,
like
let's see.
How about some of us sing on stage? Is that okay? I can't be
Yeah, it's, actually, Sarah, can you come forward? Yeah, and then, yeah, folks that are slightly shorter in stature up front with Sarah, folks that are taller in the back, but I need you to squeeze in.
You should go off front.
I'm gonna actually. Maybe she does that.
Yeah, and then if you can offset, just, yeah, offset.
What are you doing?
How about chair?
Chair.
Okay, in the front chair. So
All
that
right,
people.
we'll do that in 1 second. We'll do this first.
Push her out of the way.
Anybody told you we can't take this time?
Yeah.
You want to do one with chairs? maybe?
Sure. Step on it. I told you that, right?
Anything for the picture?
Can't swing it out you. Can't swing it out you. Your bodyguard hurt. Go ahead.
Are we? Two more. That's it. Two more.
And then, somebody sitting here.
Those systems.
That's a great.
Wow. You just tried.
Boy, what were you doing before? Gemma!
One, two, smile. One, two.
Come on.
Laura, let me just get one more. Laura.
Are you kidding?
You look weird like that, okay?
Over there? Okay.
Between Jack and,
Oh, man.
between France and
I don't want to be
Boy.
between two good looking guys.
1, 2, 3. Think of you, so keep close.
Two.
She, okay, I think
Good job, guys.
I have to match her.
Oh, Keith.
Is that a milestone?
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Sorry.
You make the difference.
Thank you.
Yeah, didn't you? Yeah, my dad.
You want to stop the live stream?
I'm just.
Did you stop it? Or?
I just put a pal, but
Did he tell you how to stop the live stream or no?
if you go in the environment, Google, what is it? YouTube.
So Google.
Or maybe just.
Wait, right
stop
here.
the
There's
YouTube.
Google Drive. It's not that, is it?
No, it's not Google.
Whoa, why did that happen? Oh, this opened maybe a new Google window. Google Drive. What's this? That's YouTube. Maybe it's in YouTube. Oh,
No, it's
I might be
camera
on. And stream.
and stream. That's it.
Yeah, and. Okay.